Alrighty, how's everybody doing? Today, we're talking a little bit about Shawn the Shark. I gotta say, it never surprises me, well, kind of does surprise me sometimes, how much I like an avatar, and once I get my hands on it. Shawn the Shark fits the bill. He has the look, he has the muscle, he has the hips. But he's got the look, and yeah, I gotta say, I fell in love with Shawn the Shark the instant I accidentally purchased him. Anyway, but yeah, today we're talking about Shawn the Shark's After Dark outfit. It consists of a set of arm warmers, leg warmers. It has a compression top. It has a tail warmer. It has some booty shorts because I've discovered that I really like the look. It has a set of booty shorts, and it has multiple materials. It's set up using VRC Fury, so you can do a whole bunch of stuff in the gear wheel without having to worry about having to change materials all the time inside Unity. But let's go ahead and take a look at how he's set up. There are a few things that you have to have set up. First, I would like to say thank you for purchasing this package through either Gumroad or Itch at the moment, if that is so how you found it. Yeah, there are other clothing sets that are coming soon for other avatars. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at Shawn the Shark. There are a few things that you have to have in already set up on your avatar before you can get started with this the Unity project file that you're going to get. A few things you need. You have to have your avatar already uploaded at least once. This prepares the avatar itself to make sure that it is looking the way you want it to and functioning properly in VR chat. Not necessarily because I want you to go upload it first. It's to make sure that it's functioning properly and there's nothing broken in the project. Okay? Now we can take a look at the prerequisites for this add-on, this After Dark outfit for Shawn the Shark. So let's go ahead and take a look at Creator Companion just to make it easy for me because, I tend to be a little dumb sometimes. Let's go ahead and take a look at Creator Companion. A few things that you're going to need is that you're going to need your Shawn the Shark to be set up in a VR Chat SDK 3.8.2 or newer. Do be aware that it is currently the 26th of November, 2025. On December 1st, you will be required to set up any new avatar using VRChat SDK 3.9 or newer. As far as I know, it works just fine. But you will need to be using 3.9 or newer due to their security changes for any new avatar that's uploaded. Any projects that already exist, you will still be able to continue to update them, but you will not be able to upload a new avatar into your profile without VRChat SDK 3.9 or newer, starting the 1st of December 2005. Okay? One of the other things that's required will be a VRC Fury 1.1250 or newer, and Poyomi Toon Shader 9.2.69, nice, or newer. These two pieces here makes this a drag and drop install. If you don't want to use Poyomi or you have a newer version, that's perfectly fine. Older versions are missing a few options that uses for like the knockout for the fishnets, and a few other things that make Poyomi a little bit thinner. So if you want to fight with it, have at it, Haas. Niceties to have will be the Thrive's Avatar Performance Tool, whatever's newest. AV3 Emulator, whatever's newest. Gesture Manager Emulator, whatever's newest. And GoGo Loco, whatever's newest. These four pieces, this one here, GoGo Loco, gives you something animated in Unity when we look at Gesture Manager, which is Gesture Manager and AV3 Emulator. These two pieces here give you a test environment inside Unity. This gives you something to do, so you can wiggle around and stuff. It also has a bunch of poses and stuff if you're in desktop mode. The Thrive's Performance Tool. We'll take a real quick look at it. It gives you an idea of what your avatar looks like as far as VRAM consumption is. I'm going to show you a little bit of something that I've discovered about Shawn the Shark. This is not a slap against Darbi, but it's a little thick. So there's a few things that you can do to slim him down a little bit if you take the time to do so. Okay, just to make him a little bit lighter. So. Once you've got all those parts installed through here, you can go ahead and go back into Shawn the Shark, and as you can see, this is my Shawn the Shark. I've turned him into a surfer. He was a little too emo, but I don't mind emo. I just decided he needed to be. He's a shark, of course he's going to surf. But I turned him into a surfer, and he's got the. But anyway, he's got the look. He's got the the markings and everything. So let's go ahead and take a look at how to do the install for this. Since you have all that stuff in place and your shark is already uploaded at least once, let's take a look at the folder that you guys will be getting from the Gumroad/itch page, Jinxie, coming soon. You'll end up with this folder. It will have a few other things in it too. It'll have the Substance Painter file, and it will also have the basic install instructions, which will refer you here to this video, technically, because this is it's better hands-on. Don't take that out of context. Go ahead and grab this file, Shawn AD, and you're going to drop it into the assets folder in your Unity project. I'm not going to do it because it's already installed in this project. You just drop it right on top of the assets folder, okay? Or in the assets folder. Once you do that, there's going to be a pop-up that's going to pop up on the screen and says, hey, are you sure you want to import these assets? And import all. Okay? It's going to sit there, it's going to crunch, it's going to do some stuff, it's going to make your PC feel like it's hating itself for a few seconds, but once it's done, you will have in here this Shawn AD folder. Okay? Go ahead and select that Shawn AD folder. You're going to see a bunch of stuff in here. These two down here, this is improperly colored right now because I just changed something, but don't worry about it. You're going to see these two things down here. This one here is the Shawn AD clothing set, and this one is the Jiggle Physics version. We're not going to bother working with this one today because it installs the same way. You guys probably want to see the Jiggle Physics version anyway. The only difference between the two is that this one has 3 things less in the gear wheel when we get there. Okay? I'll point those out when we get there. But for today, we're going to work with Shawn AD-Jiggle. We're going to grab this prefab and we're going to drop it onto whatever version of the Shawn the Shark you are using. I'm going to drop it here. So this asset is built using the empty version of Shawn the Shark, which is missing its hair bones and stuff like that. It still will apply to any of the versions at all. But do be aware that if you're going to create a VRM or anything like that, you will need to go into Unity, import the 2 assets, move some bones around, and then re-export a new copy. It's kind of complicated, but it's not too difficult because I figured out how to do it. You can too. Okay? But this is a drag and drop install for VR chat. We're not talking about VRMs. Things get complicated. Or VC face avatars. As you can see, I've already done my conversion, and everything physics just fine. But as you can see, the clothing fits. You can see that it's not quite sitting on the tail properly. And the reason why is because when Darbi exported the VR chat version, they bent the tail into shape. You don't have to worry about that because whenever we go and use VRC Fury or upload it to VR chat, VRC Fury is going to rebind all of the clothing to the skeleton of the avatar you have installed it on. And it's going to bend itself to fit the shape automatically. So don't panic if you see this sticking out like this. It will do its thing. Trust me, you'll see. But as of right now, you could go ahead and fire this upload. But you probably want to do some modifications to the materials first so you can have more of a custom look. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we can go about doing that. So let me crush this over so you guys can see everything. This is the default latex that comes on the avatar. I always start with the latex because it's the easiest way to make sure that I don't have any UV issues when I cut it apart the first time, or before I cut it apart the first time. You can see that this is just a straight, pretty straight flat black latex. It does have a little bit of height mapping on it for like stretch-ish marks on fabric, right? So if you want to change the color of the latex, go to the Shawn the Shark folder, Shawn AD folder, pardon me, and select the latex material, and then scroll down. It should be unlocked by default. Select the material, and it's going to pull it up in the inspector. Let's say you don't want this to be black. Let's go with, I don't know, a dark blue or something like that. You select this color in alpha right here, this black bar, and we're going to change it to whatever color fits your fancy. Let's go with a super dark blue. It feels good, right? It does have a custom normal to give it a little bit of wrinkle here and there, like across the forearms where you get tug lines, and across some of these areas on the back, on the tail and on the inner thighs and stuff like that. It's to give that fabric a little bit of weight. Scroll all the way down. Let's say you would like this to be more chrome instead of this satiny latex look. Scroll down to your reflection in the specular. and you want it to be straight up chromized. You're going to grab the metallics, slide it all the way up, and grab the smoothness and slide it all the way up. And now you are a fully chromized metal, shiny and chrome. Or if you want this to look more like flat latex, just straight old school latex, you grab your smoothness, your metallics, and you slide it all the way down. And now you're shiny, rubberized latex, right? Looks pretty good. Looks pretty dang good. All right, but I prefer the satiny rubber look, so we're going to return those values back to 0.7, just to make it light. Well, it's almost 0.7, like that. It does have a custom emission map that forces only the stuff that's not under the cuffs and under the banding around the torso to emit. We're going to go and scroll down to emissions, and we're going to turn that up a little bit so we can see what we're talking about. I'm going to turn it way up so we can see it. It will make whatever color is underneath it emit. So you can see how this banding on the outside is not emitting. If you want that to emit, pull this mask out, just click this circle dot and type in none and select none, and it will make everything emit. But we're gonna leave that map in there because it comes in super handy for this next piece. Turn your emissions back down to 0, emission strength down to 0. Let's say you want that color shift, that chromatic shift color that we see on a lot of high-end cars recently. There's another look buried in this material. We're going to scroll all the way up to decal 1, or decal 0, and we're going to take this alpha that's animated. You can see this A here. We're going to change this to 1. Step 1. Then we're going to scroll down to matcap 0, and we're going to turn its intensity to 1. And now we have that chromatic shift that's on those high-end color shift cars. Okay, looks pretty good the way it is, but if you would like to change these colors, it's pretty much the same way that we did on the first time. You scroll all the way back up to decal 0, and it's this color right here. We're going to change this to something else for now so you can see what it looks like. Let's say this blue. Okay, and you want this other color to be shifted to a different color. Scroll back down to matcap 0. Change this color to whatever fits that look. Let's go. What looks good? The green looked pretty good, actually. You know what? We'll go slightly aqua on that one. Go ahead and close that, and now you have that chromatic shift between the two colors. And what it's doing is it's using your point of reference. So whatever flat point is facing you the most is where that chromatic shift is going to take effect. Okay? There's a third look buried in here. And it's under decal 1. You scroll to decal 1. And you take its alpha and set it to 1. And it has these cherry blossoms that will appear on the surface. It's just an add-on, and it will only affect the latex material. Even if you go back in here, go to decal 0, and we're going to turn the alpha to 0, and go back down to the matcap 0 and change that back, its intensity back to 1. Those will persist across the two. Let's go back up to decal 1, and we're going to turn its alpha to 0. So you can see that it will persist across that material whenever you have it turned on. Okay, it's in the gear wheel. We'll take a look at that when we get there. You can also change the color on these a little bit if you want to. Oop, that's the emission. You want the alpha. You can change the color on these if you want to, but I do recommend leaving them the way they are so they will color shift properly. But you can change these to any color you like. Okay. I do recommend leaving this white though, just so you have that effect. Okay. Once you get it looking the way you want, go ahead and make sure that all your animations are set back to 0, including your emissions. All the way down here, make sure your emissions are set to 0. Your emission strength is set to 0. Once you get it looking the way you want, scroll all the way back up and lock in Optimize Shader. We do this now because if you let VRC Fury or the VRChat SDK lock it, it can add up to 20% more time per material to lock your materials as you go. It's best to just lock them on you go. And besides, once you got the look done, might as well lock it, right? So you don't accidentally change something. Go ahead and hit Lock in Optimize Shader. You can see it's rebuilding the material, and it's moved all the other stuff away. Okay. Now let's say let's go ahead and take a look at the other materials, shall we? We're going to place them on the avatar as we go, so we can take a look at how they function and work. Let's see. The first one that we typically go for is going to be the stripes. So we're going to go into the stripes folder, Shawn AD, and stripes. It's this material right here. We're going to grab this material and we're going to drop it onto the 5 parts of the clothing, just so we can see what we're doing. Sometimes you have an issue trying to drop it onto one of the pieces of the mesh. You select that piece of the mesh, you can grab the material and drop it into onto element 0. Okay, and it'll change it for you. Select the material, and then we're going to adjust the color. This is a berry color that I use on almost all my avatar clothing, personally. But if you select this color bar right here, select the material, and select this color in alpha, you can change this to whatever you like. You know, we've been doing a lot of blue so far today, so let's go with a nice sharp green. Hit OK, or close it. It does not have a custom metallic map. It is meant to look like a very warm, snuggly pair of wool socks. So it is completely flat, but it does have an emission. If you scroll all the way down to emissions, it is emitting whatever is underneath. So the black stripes can't emit black. It's just going to emit the green. So if you turn this emission strength up, so you can see what's going to emit. You can see how bright it's going to get. The animation in the wheel will only take it to 0.5, but trust me, it's very, very bright when you look at it. If you want it to emit a color other than what's underneath, and this applies for the latex material as well, if you turn off this use base color, let's turn this emission up first, and select this bar here, it will emit whatever color you want. However, you will have to, let me go lock this in place because I need to do some clicking. You will have to go in here and you're going to have to grab the emission map and drop it into the emission mask to make this work properly. And the reason why that I don't have it in there by default, this is increasing your VRAM consumption by 2 megabytes. That's the reason why I don't have it in there by default. If you want to do this, go ahead and drop that in there, hit fix now. And now you can adjust this color to whatever you want it to be. But do realize though that it's kind of messing with the color. I know it's really super bright right now. It's typically going to be turning up to 0.5. You can see how it's kind of messing with the undercolor a little bit. So it can really, really kind of mess with your color scheme. So I do recommend using base color. We're going to return this down to white. We're going to use base color and we're going to take this emission mask back out. We're going to type none in here. Like this. There. And now we'll just use that green color underneath. It also lightened up your material because it doesn't have that extra map in there. Okay? Once you get this material looking the way you like, go ahead and scroll all the way back up and lock in Optimize Shader. Click. All right. Next piece that we're going to look at is going to be the fishnets, because fish is going to wear fishnets. It's a standard club look, right? Let's go into the fishnets folder, Shawn AD, fishnets. Grab this material and we're going to drop it onto the 5 parts of the outfit. I'm realizing that I just left the emissions on that material, so let me go back in there real quick. Stripes. Oh, it's still locked. Oh, it's locked in place. I didn't have to go out of there. Scroll it down, and we're going to change the emission. Oh, the emission strength is 0. Whenever you lock a Poyomi material and you have it marked as animated, this stays active, so when it's locked, it can be animated. That's the reason why it's like that. Anyway, back to the fishnets. Back to the fishnets material. And this gets changed the same way that the other one does, or any of the other ones do. Change this color in alpha to whatever you feel comfortable with. Let's go. You know what? Let's do straight up white. Let's make it shiny and chrome. Shiny and chrome. Let's scroll all the way down. It does have a custom reflection and specular map. I do not recommend changing these around, but if you want to flatten this chrome out to make it look a little less chrome, you can grab this metallic and you slide it down. It can end up looking a little like brushed gunmetal if you're not careful. So I do recommend leaving this all the way up. It does have an emission map that is the same as the alpha on the avatar. So don't worry about this being in the wrong place. It emits whatever's underneath. So you can see that's going to end up being a little bleached out, but that's perfectly fine because, you know, in darkness you need some color. If you want it to emit a different color, turn off use base color, and then choose a color for it to emit. Let's give it a little tiny bit of a pink. like that. You can see it's emitting a little tiny bit of a pink. If we turn the lights off and on, you can see it's emitting that color. Okay. However, it does cause issues with the color if you're using a bunch of different colors on your avatar, so I do recommend leaving it set to use base color. We're going to undo, and we're going to turn the strength back down to 0. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and scroll all the way back up. Once you get it looking the way you like it, go ahead and lock in Optimize Shader. This map on here has lots of height variance, so whenever you're in a space that has lots of post-processing, you got lots of flash off all these angles. You really do. Lock in Optimize Shader. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next material, which is going to be the Himbo Hooters, because everybody likes a Himbo. Who knew? Grab this Himbo Hooters material in the Shawn AD folder, Himbo, and you're going to grab this material and you're going to drop it onto the 5 parts of the outfit. Oops, I missed. There we go. And you can see, sometimes they're a little bit of a pain in the ass to get on there. But if you keep missing, don't forget, you can select the mesh and drop it into element 0. And select the Himbo material. And this one's a hand-painted texture, so it's a little harder to adjust the colors. If you wanted to adjust it, select the material under Color and Alpha, hit Adjust Color, and Hue Shift. And now you should be able to grab this Hue Shift and you should be able to adjust this however you like. It's only going to be in the pastels, and the reason why is because it is using this way, the official, air quotes, official Hooters orange color, FF7514. That's the hex color code for that color. If you want this to be something that's a lot more deep than any of these in here, you will have to use the Substance Painter file and export a new copy. I made it as easy to work with as I could in Substance to make it as easy to upload as possible in Unity instead of Substance. We're going to use the original color, so we're just going to turn this back down and then turn these two off because you don't need them running. It has a custom metallic map. It's going to turn the lights back on. It has a custom metallic map, so you can see how it's got the hexagons are chromized, and the lettering is also chromized in all places it shows up. So you can see it's got a little bit of a chrome on it. It is custom, so if you want to flatten it out, it will flatten those out. I do recommend leaving it up where it's at. And if you go down to the emission 0, it is a painted emission map. All the stripes and all the wording glow on the body throughout the outfit. So whatever adjustment you do under the Hue Shift, you will have to do it here as well. Hue Shift. I know it's in here. Color adjust. Color adjust Hue Shift. So you'll have to do the same thing as you did up at the top as you did here, unless you export a new copy. Okay. Once you got the material looking like you want to, go ahead and scroll all the way up and lock in Optimize Shader. All right. Now, every avatar that I've done, every outfit set that I've done for the past, I think 6 or 7, I have been doing a specialized look for them. This one got the same, Shawn got the same look as the other shark I did recently. The outfit's fairly similar, but it is, of course, going to be a lifeguard outfit for a shark, because that's just the way sharks are, right? You know they're going to be hanging out the beach. I mean, I did build a surfer after all. So grab this material and drop it onto the 5 parts from the lifeguard folder underneath Shawn AD, and we're going to drop it onto the 5 parts of the avatar of the outfit, and then we're going to take a look at this. So this is safety yellow. The reason why you don't see safety yellow used on the ocean is because it's also known as yum yum yellow. It's known for attracting sharks. I'm not even kidding. Look it up. But this is a safety look. As you can see, it's using a little bit of a matte cap on it because it is meant to be reflective, kind of like road signs and stuff like that. It's meant to be flashy and be able to catch your attention at a distance. This one is a little more difficult to adjust the color on because the way it's designed. If you want this to be another color, you can adjust it in here, but it can look a little bit janky. So if you want it to look much better, I recommend going to the Substance Painter file and exporting a new copy. But if you want to adjust it, go down to this decals, decal 0, turn it on. We're going to scroll in a little bit, and then you can adjust that color in here to whatever you like within reason. As you can see, it is having a little tiny bit of a clipping issue around some of the around this chromized badge, right? And that's because the color is fighting with whatever's underneath. So it can be used, it just doesn't look the best. If you can, export a new copy. We're gonna leave this as red. Let's go down and take a look at the matte cap, because that is the highlight on this piece. We can change that to something that matches that decal to make it look a little bit better, right? And we're going to scroll back in. You can still see some of the green punching through from the original. I recommend, if you're going to adjust the color, to export a new copy. I really do. So close that. Once you got it looking the way you like, lock in Optimize Shader. I'm going to turn it back to the original though. Click, 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 like that. That should turn off the decal. And it does have a custom metallic map. It does have a custom metallic map on the lifeguard portions across the entire body. If you adjust that metallic at all, it's going to flatten those out a lot. If you'd like to, have at toss. I recommend leaving it up though. Smoothness dulls it out and takes away all the reflectiveness. So I recommend leaving it the way it is. Then let's go ahead and scroll back out a little bit. Then that is pretty much it. You're ready to start uploading, but for one thing, you will have to return Shawn the Shark back to his original material set in order to make sure that it's animated in the gear wheel properly. Oh, I forgot to mention, he does have a mission map on this one. If we scroll down and take a look, I'm just going to double click it so I can see it real quick. It is all the lifeguard logos and stuff on the body. So those parts will glow whatever color's underneath, which is white. If you want to adjust those, same as before. Okay. Once you got the lifeguard looking the way you want, scroll all the way back up and lock in Optimize Shader. So now that you want to upload him, because you've gotten all the looks down, let's go ahead and return him the way he is before. We want to grab the latex material and drop it back onto the 5 parts of the outfit, because if you don't, it won't be able to animate in the gear wheel properly, and it will just stay with whatever default whatever material you left on it last. So so once you've got him back the way he started, go ahead and select the base of the avatar, and you're going to run Gesture Manager. If you don't have one of these sitting in scene, and since we talked about it being a Creator Companion, it should be sitting up under Tools, Gesture Manager, Emulator. When you click this, it's going to drop this Gesture Manager into one of your scenes. It doesn't matter which one, but it has to be it has to be in one of the scenes, and it has to not be nested inside one of the avatars. Okay, that's the only requirement. I do recommend putting Go Loco on the avatar, just so we have something that we can look at to make sure everything's functioning and everything's wiggling around like it's supposed to. Since we talked about having it in the Creator Companion, it will be under Tools, Go Loco, Show Prefab. Make sure you have the avatar selected first. You're going to add Go Loco. I use Beyond because I needed a few positions to check a few things. So that's going to add this onto the avatar. Okay. Select your Gesture Manager. Turn off all the other avatars in scene. You only need the one. Select the avatar we're going to test. Go up to Gesture Manager and enter Play Mode. This is going to fire up VRC Fury, which is going to pull all these meshes off of the FBX. It's going to ram them onto the original skeleton of the avatar. It's going to make sure that they're all blend shaping and matching the avatar as needed. And it's going to make your life a lot easier. There is a way that you can do this manually, but it requires you to export a new FBX through Blender. So I do recommend using VRC Fury. It makes life a lot easier. You could also technically do bone pairing, but who wants to do that anymore, right? Okay, so you can see I have this set here for a reason. But anyway, let's go back to the scene, and you see Shawn the Shark. He's standing here. I've redone my gear wheel a little bit and some of the defaults, so I have a default look. Makes it easier to work with sometimes. But this is your gear wheel the exact same way it's going to show up in VR chat. Go to the expressions. Next, After Dark. Arm warmers, crop top, leg warmers, tail warmer, We're going to go into the booty shorts subfolder, turn on the booty shorts. We're going to turn the bulge on. We're going to zoom in a little bit. So turn the physics on. I'm going to skip this one for now. This is a little special. Turn the physics on so you can see it. You can see it drop into place. It does have some gravity driving it. And then you can scale it up a little bit because sometimes you just need a little bit of profile enhancement, right? Right. So if we switch back over here to game mode, you can see that it's physicsing the way it's supposed to. Now, if we turn this on right here, tuggable, you can't see it without turning all the gizmos on, but there's a little spot that's grabbable in game on both sides. Because sometimes you just gotta be a little bit of a tease, right? It's on both sides. You turn this off, you can't select it anymore. So it's in there. You just have to turn it on. It's off by default, and every time you change worlds, it will be off by default. Okay. But now let's go back to scene. Let's scroll back out here a little bit. But now we can take a look at the outfits. Go into the outfits portion. We got latex mod. There's that chromatic shift that we worked on, right? Latex flowers. Across the body, they're just randomly placed. I literally did a randomized brush. I just go plop, 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 plop. You know what I mean? And just kind of aim them around just to give it a kind of a random look. It's only going to apply those to the latex material. So as soon as you select another material, it's going to turn those off. Fishnets. Let it render. There's those chromized fishnets, right? Stripes. Cozy. Himbo. Who's ready for wings? Lifeguard. Save me, I'm drowning, save me. I know, right? And now we can even toggle on the emissions. They're very, very subtle in Unity, but they're very bright when it comes to actually being VR chat. There's that one. Himbo. Emits on the stripes and on the raised lettering. Stripes. Very subtle. Fishnets. You can see the chrome flashing on and off. And the latex mod, which is going to emit all of the color portion, right? Black, the base emission will emit all the base color, okay? And that is Shawn the Shark's After Dark outfit. It looks really, really good. Let's go ahead and exit play mode. And now you are definitely ready to fire this up live onto VR chat. I hope you guys have some fun running around with this guy. He looks good inside and out on the dance floor. Let me go back into Gesture Manager here real quick. This is an addendum. I want to show you guys a few little things that are on here. This is an addendum to the install. But as far as getting him ready to go, he's ready to fire up. You go ahead and send him off to VR chat, and away you go. Let's go in here and take a real quick look at a few things. Let's get him all up and running. So, you done yet, Shawn? Shawn? You done, Shawn? There we go. You can see that he flashes in and out of a different skin, right? There are 3 other original materials on the shark texture swap. He has my custom one, which I added, and then he has 3 other basic looks, correct? These are the original ones. Each one of these being animated in the wheel increases your VRAM consumption when you're in VR chat. So we're going to take a look at something here, just so you can see what this looks like. I'm going to start doing this little piece here when it comes to these install videos. If we go up to, I think it's under Tools, and we go into Thry, we're going to go down to Avatar, and we're going to use the VRAM calculator. It's going to pop this guy floating in scene. I always just drop it in behind. We're going to select the avatar we want to test, and we're going to drop it into this input here. And it's going to calculate your VRAM consumption for this avatar. Okay? It's not excessively high, but it is pretty high. Combined all, 211 megabytes of VRAM. Okay? Combined only of what's active. Anything that's inactive gets shoved into everybody's PC RAM and stays there rather than being active VRAM. Correct? So in total, though, if everything was turned on all at once, you would be using 212 megabytes of VRAM. Okay? That is kind of high. It's not extreme, but it is kind of high. Recommended is less than 70. Okay. There are ways to go into your gear wheel and modify it to remove those. Wrong one. There are ways to remove those other 3 materials from the gear wheel. I recommend doing that because if you do it properly, I'm going to turn this one off. That's my test build. We're going to go into my Safe Work Ultra Light. Where's he hiding? I think he's in my Ultra Light. Here? Yes. He's hiding off to the side. He's just invisible right now. There he is. Because I wasn't using the original body anyway. A lot of stuff that was on him. Where's he hiding? Oh, empty version, not light. That's right. I will use the empty version. There he is. Rip. He's scrolling, and he does have another asset on him that's not in this package. Let me just zoom into him here real quick. You can see that he's popping through all of his clothing, right? I went through and I removed all of the muscle sliders, and I removed all of the material swaps, and I built into him using on his mesh. I built in his default look. Okay, built in his default look, and then added onto him the clothing set. The clothing is going to follow whatever the blend shapes are on the body automatically, so you don't have to worry about having them all popping through. You can go through and adjust them if you want to fit the body while standing in Unity, not in play mode. But if we take a look at the VRAM calculator now, we're going to grab this guy here and drop him onto this here. You can see my total VRAM has dropped over 70 megabytes. I know it's not great, but it's much better than it was before. So I recommend that if you're only ever going to use one material, go ahead and figure out how to pull the rest of them out. You can also go through and do your textures and recompress these things. Do be careful, because sometimes if you compress things too much, they get fuzzy, and not in a good way. But anyway, I recommend using this tool. It's Thrive's Avatar VRAM Calculator. You can get it off of the repository in GitHub. And then you can add the repository to VRC Fury so you can pull it in every time. But anyway, guys, it's been fun, and I will see you guys next time. But until then, stay wiggly.